How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another top 5 video, and I'm joined by D3 yet again.
Oh my god, this guy does not stop coming.
This guy
Shout out to
again.
Nelson, this goof. Not this goof again.
Anyway, we are taking a look at the top 5 STR type units, and if you watched our last one, you know who's going to be number 1, so little spoiler in there. But yeah, let's get straight into it. In the number 5 spot, we have Super Saiyan God Goku. He has probably the best link set in the game, alongside Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He has Shocking Speed, Over and Flash, and Prepared for Battle, which are probably at this point the most common links in the game. You could make an argument for Fear and Faith now, which is becoming a bit more common. But he was the first unit to have all 3 of these links. He gets a 75% attack boost. He causes supreme damage. And he's just a really solid unit overall. He bridges a ton of gaps between units, especially on one at STR if you are running specific ones like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and obviously you have Omega who has Shocking Speed. I mean, the majority of the units now do have Shocking Speed from one at STR. So it is nice to have a unit like Goku that can bridge gaps between those units. But overall, he's extremely solid. He hits hard, and he provides a ton of key support.
Yeah, I think him and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken are the only units in the game with all of the best key links in the game.
Yep.
So that being said, not to say anything about like Golden Warrior, which is one of the more consistent ones, and Fused Fighter, which is becoming a lot more prevalent, stuff like that, but just Prepare for Battle, Shocking Speed, and Over and Flash. That combination basically gives him the luxury of running on every team, pretty much, aside from like Fear and Faith teams with villains. But you know, he can basically go in anywhere. He does have a supreme modifier, which at the time there was a period in the game. Yeah, exactly. There was a period of the game where this guy was the best unit in the game, and that wasn't that long ago. I mean, well, I guess it kind of was, but it wasn't that long ago in the meta of the game, because the game itself, its meta hasn't changed that much. I mean, they introduced monos, but that's it. So that being said, he's still worthy of a top 5 contention slot. And I'll tell you one thing: if this guy gets a Dokkan Awakening, he gets Fierce Battle. They probably put that on and take off like First Awakened or something like that, and give him Fierce Battle. Gets up 90% or 100% on his passive.
Immense.
Yeah, immense. He's going to be really, really good. That being said, he is not a Transcendent UR, so that does kind of bite him in the foot a little bit, but not enough to the point where he can't be in the top 5. But every other unit on the list is, and Fierce Battle is probably the most consistent link in the game for most of the teams that you'd run anyway. So him not having that's his only real deterrent, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, exactly. It's a really, really big increase. And then the thing is that if he gets that, you know, a lot of people don't really like STR Zamasu, but there's an innate reason why I run that unit, is that he fits really well with Beerus and this god Goku, because they have godly power. That's another 15% link. So that's 30%. If this guy has that, that's 30% more on his attack when he's linked with either Beerus or Zamasu, with godly power and being linked with Fierce Battle. And then, of course, I believe Zamasu and Beerus have prodigies together, which is another 700. But that, you know, that being said, yeah, Fierce Battle would go so far for him, and it would make him hit a lot harder. And we're already talking about how he can get a bigger increase on his passive, get immense, and be right there in contention with honestly being one of the best units in the game, period. He just has aged really well, always has. And like I said, there was a time where he was the best unit overall in the game. His leader skill was really good for a while before they started popping out these leader skills with key and stuff like that. So, all in all, fantastic unit.
I'm looking at it now, and his 12 key multiplier is 140%. So if he ever does get a Dokkan, that will most likely go up to 150.
Wow. Yeah, and for a lot of you guys, for context, 140% on a key multiplier is basically equivalent to like the demigod units.
Yeah.
So he's really good.
That is like really good. Like some of the most recent units only like. If you take Super Saiyan Rise Goku Black, for example, he has 150, okay? The new Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta has 140, so that just shows you how huge this actually is. And when you take into account that his, like, if he ever gets a Dokkan, obviously, that his passive will most likely increase by a big amount, and obviously the Fierce Battle link, he's just going to hit like an absolute beast, and he's also going to have the best link set in the game. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, Fierce Battle, Super Saiyan, Over in a Flash, Shocking Speed, Prepare for Battle. What else can you ask for? But that, in a nutshell, is Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, right? And especially if they give him Kamehameha instead of that little attack he has now. My goodness, this guy will be so good. Godly power, because he has to have that because he's a Super Saiyan God. And then they'll give him Kamehameha and probably like one more link in there. I don't know,
I
but
would kind of like it if they kept the first Awaken, because 25% attack boost.
yeah, he just doesn't have any Lincoln buddies unless you're going to run him with like LR Goku on Heroes.
I mean, that could work, but
Could work.
It isn't that optimal. It's not that great on Heroes. Let's be honest. You realistically need Bardock
Yeah, Bardock.
easily.
Point is, this guy is really good.
Yeah, really, really good, and can only get
With a
better.
lot of potential.
He's one of the units that's going to age really well, as well as the other God Gokus. Obviously, they've all aged really well.
Yep, they all have. They're all really, really good units, and always have been, and always will be.
Number 4, we have STR Perfect Cell. We were talking about this unit, and he's underrated as like anything. Like, he is so underrated.
No, you should have just said what you were going to say. Underrated as F, bro. I heard that. You started to say it.
Yeah,
a lot
do
of
have to
people.
change it.
A lot of people are going to be mad at this because obviously we just sung such high praise for Goku, and then you look at Cell and it's like, oh, why? Because the thing about Cell is he does so many different things, and he also, for starters, is a demigod. That means he's he's got the key multiplier we talked about. He does have immense modifier on the super attack. He also super attacks at 10 key, which isn't that big of a deal. And unlike Gotenks, for example, who's another unit with a similar gimmick, he shoots off his strongest attack. He doesn't shoot off like a weaker variant of it. If you wanted him to, he can be an attack all unit with his 11 key modifier, or with his 11 key super attack. The 12 key versus the 10 key does hit a little bit harder because of the key multiplier, but it's not even anything significant on top of that. He does get good orbs increases from the dupe system. Naturally, at Super Attack 10, he hits for about 500k without much from the dupe system anyway.
Yeah.
So, all in all, and he does have Shocking Speed, which is pretty much the main link for STR. STR is STR is doing this thing where they're trying to become more of... Yeah, they're becoming more Fear and Faith now due to LR Frieza being such a good unit that you have to run that unit, and he doesn't have Shocking Speed, but he does have Fear and Faith, which is more or less a good thing when it talks about the versatility of Omega, because he has both of those links. You can kind of run both. So, all in all, Shocking Speed is a really, really good link on that team. So there's not really much of a detriment to Cell, and he does have Big Bad Bosses, which is one of the best attack increasing links in the game.
Yeah, and to keep in mind, he also does get a defensive boost from the buff, and I think a lot of people were kind of let down by his super attack mechanic, or the Kaiken mechanic, whatever you want to call it, because instead of it being a 50% boost, it's only a 25% boost, which is significantly weaker than obviously a 50% boost, and that would have been huge. That would have definitely taken him up a few spots in the hardest hitters list. I think at the moment he's only 8th, which is still pretty damn good. But I do feel like that mechanic lets him down slightly. It doesn't make too much of a difference when it does activate, but he's a decent unit overall.
Yeah, Cell is really good. I don't think I talked about the mechanic, but yeah, as you said, it does increase his attack and defense, but it does reset whenever the turn resets. I don't think there's a limit to it, though. Like, I think it can go beyond 3.
Yeah, but if it was a 50% boost, it'd be so much more significant.
Yeah, it would be. Vegeta, the new Intelligent Vegeta, for example, does have that.
Yeah. He doesn't get a defensive boost, but the attack
50% attack.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
So, number 3 spot, he was, like, I like to call it the Gogeta Apocalypse, because you basically had to use him to get anywhere in Dokkan. So, in number 3 is Gogeta. He was the first overpowered Rainbow Leader, to be honest. He gave the free key to all types, as well as a 3000 attack boost. He basically gets a critical hit every time he super attacks. He gets a 7000 attack boost, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7000 attack
7,000 and super effective on everybody, and he ignores their defense. So pretty much he's a built-in critical hit.
And keep in mind that at the time, like compared to now, if he was released now, he would have an insane passive skill. But at the time, it was unheard of for like any unit to have like an unconditional 100% attack boost. But now everyone's literally getting it. Like, Band, they're just throwing it away. Band, look, 100% for you, 100% for you.
What is 7,000? Is that like an 80% increase?
I think something around that. It may be a little bit less.
Yeah.
I think it might be a bit less, because he isn't even in a top 15 hardest hitters.
Well, it's because of that 7,000.
Yeah,
if he got an 80% increase instead, that would be... this guy would be incredible. But I also think that list
hit.
doesn't factor in his passive ability, that built-in critical hit he has.
Yeah, and you can get like 2 criticals technically, can't you? Because of the dupe
Yes,
system.
you can. You can critical on top of his super attack because it's not really a critical. It's just basically the critical hit ability is a carbon copy of Gogeta's passive. So,
Yeah.
that being said, I mean,
yeah.
Alex, you're crazy.
What?
You're crazy.
How?
You know, there are people in the comments right now saying, wow, Gogeta shafted. Gogeta's better than Vegito. We know this. We've always known this. The one true god. Look at that leader skill. All types. Attack plus 3,000. 3 key.
That's a nice 3,000 attack boost, you know. It makes such a big difference.
It does. It's so much better than that 70% attack increase. I'm sorry. I'm just being mean.
There are
those defreezing.
Yeah, it's going to run through all the current Dokkan events with 60k health. It's going to go really well. Take a team of stunners. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
don't want to take anything away from Gogeta. Gogeta's an awesome unit.
He has a good unit.
He has amazing links. It's still an optimal hero unit. Yeah, it's still an optimal hero unit too. It's just the Gogeta is better than everybody else stuff never really stopped, which isn't really true.
There are still believers out there. They are still going strong. They're keeping at him. They're staying at him. Okay, so number 2, LR Frieza. He is now the hardest hitter in the game, and I initially thought that he had shocking speed, but you did mention earlier that he has Fear and Faith, which is starting to become a much more common link for the STR type, and you can probably use him on you can definitely use him on a villain team because a lot of units do have Fear and Faith, and you also get the free key boost from Super Saiyan Rose, so he does work really, really well on both teams, despite either team not having that great of an orb change. He can potentially rely on Android 13, but that's not exactly optimal. You're basically giving up that spot to give orbs to LR Frieza, and you have to take into account that you're most likely going to be running Buhan as well. But he is an incredible unit, incredible attack stat. I think he hits like around 700k. I think the difference between the number 2 spot and LR Frieza is pretty huge. It's like 200k or something. So I'm actually surprised they made him better than Goku. If I'm not mistaken, he actually does get a bigger defensive boost as well. Yeah, so LR Frieza gets a 13,000 attack and he gets a 5,000 defensive boost, whereas LR Goku only gets a 10,000 and 3,000 defensive boost. So LR Frieza is better, obviously, but the only real problem for me is that STR or villain team for that matter doesn't really have that many optimal orb changes.
Yeah, the thing about Frieza is he can run on villains. I just don't see that being his optimal build. I think that morphing STR is the best team for him. Like, we were working on it, last time we recorded, and I was like, man, Fura, or Fuller, which is what Global I think is going to call him. Links. Yeah, he except for I think the Colossal one.
Yeah, that's
or Big Bad Boss. It's one of them.
Yeah, LR exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically Fura activates 5 of Frieza's links. 2 key links and like 3 attack boosts, and I'm like, this guy is literally his best friend. So on STR, you keep those 2 paired together, that Frieza's going to hit ridiculously hard, obviously, especially at Super Attack 20, and then Fura will get all of his stuff, so he'll still hit moderately hard with his 70% increased passive. So you're looking at a unit that probably would not fit optimally on a villain team unless you made that team suit more to him, because I think the androids kind of suffers for the same thing. The androids struggle to get their super attacks off on that team because it doesn't really blend as well with shocking speed. Even with Goku Black, his passive can only go so far, especially if you want to be different. Like, you can't really do that with like a Merge Zamasu and Goku Black. It doesn't work as well because you're a lot more dependent on 2 Goku Blacks and stuff like that, and you're missing a lot of key. So I think that with these LR units, and the same goes for Goku, to be honest, he doesn't really have good links either, so he can't really fit too well on a hero team either. If you wanted to get that max super attack off. Yeah, exactly. I think that these LR units, basically my point is that they're meant to sit I'm having a tough time talking, meant to sit mainly on their respective mono teams as opposed to sitting on like these rainbow-esque teams. So that being said, basically hardest hitter in the game. Not really much else to say. He deserves a slot.
I'm looking at this now, but LR Frieza actually gets a 30%, like another 30% attack boost
Yeah.
he's at Super Attack 20. A lot of Goku does not get that. Wow, I did not even realise. And this list...
Didn't Goku's get, whenever his max super attack is achieved, they said that his super attack gets stronger.
Yeah, but on this list I'm looking now, a shout out to the Dokkan subreddit, it says here that LR Frieza gets a 30% attack boost, but LR Goku doesn't.
Goku gets something, because I remember it saying that.
Yeah. But
maybe it's not 30 then.
It might be a bit lower. And
but also, Goku does have that Vegito super attack mechanic.
Yeah, he does. And
so that's probably why.
And Goku does get an additional 25% from the Bardock link. First Awakened.
I mean, Frieza gets like 30% from Fura too.
I'm literally going to get into that now. So he gets a 30% attack boost, and this list was made only taking into account the big bad bosses link. So
yeah, big bad bosses is so good.
740,
such a good link.
And like with just that link active, he's at 742k. So can you imagine how much harder he's going to hit with all the links active from when you link him with Fura? That's an additional 30%.
Yeah, Frieza's really good.
Insane. So, in the number 1 spot, we mentioned it last video briefly, Omega Shenron, probably the most underrated God Lead. We definitely underrated him in our God Lead video, but he's a beast. He is definitely the most. I'd say he's definitely the most consistent unit, like in the game. One of the most consistent units. He lowers attack by 30%, and he hits really hard. He's the leader for STR types. He has really good links. What else can you ask for? And keep in mind, he probably has the best stats out of all the God Leads. He can actually tank as well.
Omega is a savage. That's all I really have to say. I mean, it's funny that STR has the most underrated leader and demigod leader.
Yeah.
It's funny that they have those two units.
So, bro,
STR is such a good mono team, though.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. So, we did mention this last video, but Broly's the only unit that isn't at the top of his list.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just gonna put that out there. But yeah, initially we did put Gotenks above Omega Shenron, and a few days later we were like, okay, I think we made a mistake.
Yeah, Omega is just that good. The thing about it is not to take anything away from Gotenks, it's just that he's a one-trick pony. Omega does everything, right? Lowers attack by 30%. Yeah, and I mean, there's no conditions on anything he does. That's the thing. He lowers attack by 30% against everybody that he's fighting, but that also means that all of your units will tank a lot better. That being said, he does greatly lower defense. That may be useful sometimes not as useful, but it's still a perk. He does get an unconditional 80%. He does have immense. He does have, 140-50% key multiplier.
I think all the God Leads have 150.
He's going to hit for 500k. So, what more can you ask for? He got a lot of flack, but he does have a few really good key links. He does have big bad bosses. He does have, Nightmare, I think. Just an amazing all-around unit. There's, literally no drawbacks to Omega.
Yeah, with only Fierce Battle and Big Bad Bosses active, he is number 11 on the list. He hits for 403k, and keep in mind, that's before he even attacks. That's just the max damage with those links active pre-attack. Yeah,
see, Omega doesn't have any drawbacks. He literally is probably the most well-rounded unit in the game. Not to say the best unit or things like that are closest to perfect, because we kind of already sung that praise with Vegito. Mm-hmm. It's just when you look at that unit, his attack, his HP, his defense, all his stats are really, really well-rounded. He lowers attack on the enemy so he can tank himself really well, actually. He also can hit a little harder with the greatly lowering. I mean, there's just really no problem with Omega. I can't find a single detriment to that unit.
People don't like him because it's GT.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, everybody has a hard-on for Vegito Blue. When the God Lead comes out, you're going to run both of these units together, and you're going to have a really good time tanking everything with Vegito Blue because of Omega.
I didn't even think of that. Can you imagine how good Vegito Blue is going to be with that Rainbow Lead?
Yep, and it's all because
Omega
of Omega.
Shenron, Buhan. Oh my god. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, see?
Holy shit, that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
People are going to love it.
Vegito Blue is going to be the best card in the game. Well, he might be, I don't know, it depends if they really do make a God Lead.
They will.
I'm dreading the moment because, as much as I hate to say it, that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin. But anyway,
rip money spent.
Rip wallet. Dokkan is more financially draining than having a girlfriend, just saying.
Oh, don't ever try to have a girlfriend and Dokkan. It won't work.
The DP struggle. Well, that is the end of our top 5 series. Yes, we did it. Managed to make it to the end with not too much hate, I think. But yeah.
Oh, we had enough hate. Not again.
Again, I'll bet you every single video, I'm just going to have an archive of pictures of people saying not again. Yeah, we hope you guys did enjoy it, and as usual, I will leave DBZ's channel linked in the comment section down below and description, so go ahead and check him out. He makes awesome content. But we hope you guys did enjoy this top 5 series, and hopefully you can come back in the future for more. Do you have any last words?
Not really, man. It was fun doing this. It was different. I haven't done something like this, so it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.